Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Evan and this is Evan Jake Sports. On this channel I like to use sports data from multiple different analysts as well as my own takes to see where players are going to finish this year. And in this video we're going to be breaking down the top 20 quarterbacks. So let's get into it. Starting off at number 20, we have Drake Maye of the New England Patriots. Drake Maye played in 13 games last year and looks to improve his numbers across the board as he sees an improving offense with Stephon Diggs and TreVeyon Henderson added to the lineup. Drake Maye has a lot of rushing upside, looks to get 3 rushing touchdowns this year on top of his 22 passing touchdowns and 3,600 passing yards. Our next quarterback is going to be Jared Goff of the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions finished at the top of a very competitive NFC North last year. Jared Goff looks to depreciate a little bit in his productivity this year. We might see that because of the departure of Ben Johnson, who is a phenomenal offensive coordinator. He's moving on to the Bears, and Jared Goff is still left with an amazing offense, amazing players, and should still be a very productive quarterback, but due to his lack of rushing upside, he's only going to be our QB 19. Trevor Lawrence also doesn't have a lot of rushing upside outside of his rushing touchdown potential. Played in 10 games last year, so all of his stats from last year should relatively double, playing in twice as many more games this year. So his rushing touchdown upside is there. Had 3 last year, probably have 4 this year. Sees the addition of Travis Hunter, who we now know is going to be playing more of a wide receiver role and less of a defensive back role. And he has Brian Thomas Jr. Bryce Young also has some weapons. Just got a rookie in Ted McMillan. Also has some veterans on this team with Hunter Renfrow and Adam Thielen. There's also Xavier Legette on the team, so he's got a lot of options there. He's also got an additional running back alongside Chuba this year. And playing in 14 games last year, he had 2,400 passing yards, 15 passing touchdowns, and 6 rushing touchdowns. The rushing touchdowns might see a little bit of a decrease with the larger running back room, but I believe his passing yards and passing touchdowns will improve this year and make him the QB 17 this year. Next, we're going to move on to Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams kind of dropped a little bit of a dud last year, even though he was a rookie, number 1 overall pick last year for the Bears. Played in all 17 games, had a pass rating of 88 on average. Looks to improve that this year with an increase in passing yards, passing touchdowns, and he does have some rushing upside. Being behind a better O-line this year and the addition of Ben Johnson should improve his offense performance for 2025. Moving on to the top 15, we're starting things off with J.J. McCarthy of the Minnesota Vikings. Didn't play any games last year due to his injury in the preseason. So no stats to go off of, but based on where Vegas and analysts have the receiving game going, J.J. McCarthy being the passer for those receivers, should get a total of 4,300 passing yards, 28 touchdowns, and potentially 1 rushing touchdown as well. J.J. McCarthy might end up scrambling as he may be indecisive in the pocket starting off and get some rushing potential. He also does like doing dump-offs. I know he's known for that in college. To his running backs, Aaron Jones is great at that, as we saw with his time with Aaron Rodgers over in Green Bay a few years back. So he's part of a great offense. It's very difficult for a quarterback to not succeed in the Vikings offense. Every single Vikings quarterback, including backups, since Kirk Cousins has been there, has averaged 18 points per game in the games they played. So you expect J.J. McCarthy to do something similar. I believe he can do better than Sam Darnold did last year, and he's going to be our QB 15 this year. Speaking of Green Bay, Jordan Love of the Green Bay Packers had 3,300 passing yards last year in the 15 games he played, with 25 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown. He's projected to have 4,400 passing yards this year. He has a great wide receiver core around him, a very, very deep wide receiver core around him as well. Added Matthew Golden. No idea who's going to be the wide receiver 1 this year for the team. Could be Golden, it could be Reed. Everybody looks to get an equal target share on that team, so he's got a lot of weapons and a great offense. Bo Nix is going to be the next quarterback on our list for the Denver Broncos. He was a rookie last year, played in all 17 games. Might see a little bit of decrease in passing yards. He had 3,700 last year, might only get 3,400 this year. Same passing touchdowns, though, and same rushing touchdowns. Is able to run the ball, and that helps having the best PFF offensive line in the league. If you're not familiar, PFF is a rating system that rates anything from players to offensive lines to defense and anything you can think of. So according to PFF, they have the best offensive line, which is good for quarterbacks, and even better if you are a scrambling or rushing quarterback. So Bo Nix should get similar stats to last year, and then also sees an improvement with the tight end position in Evan Ingram. So he's going to be our quarterback 13. Moving on to our next quarterback in Justin Herbert of the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers added Keenan Allen in the offseason. They still have Ladd McConkey. And they also added Trey Harris. Don't know if Trey Harris is going to get much of a target share this year. And then they have Quentin Johnston. And Omarion Hampton was added. So added a lot of offense. Justin played in all 17 games last year, getting 3,800 passing yards. With all the wide receivers and offense they added, I expect his numbers to increase from the 23 touchdowns he had last year to 30. Has a little bit of a rushing upside and 4,100 passing yards. Moving on to Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys. Only played in 8 games last year, got injured. Dak's a great quarterback, even though he only had 2,000 yards in 8 games last year. I would expect that to double and get back to his 4,400 passing yards he usually gets in fully healthy seasons. And I also believe he can get that with Javonte Williams being more of a pass-catching running back than a workhorse running back, and George Pickens being added to the team as wide receiver 2 alongside CeeDee Lamb. So he also has great passing weapons and can see an increase from the 11 touchdowns he had last year to the 30, playing in every game this year. And he has a little bit of rushing upside. He is getting a little bit older and doesn't really need to run the ball as a pass-heavy offense. So I expect Dak to finish number 11 this year. Moving on to the top 10, we're starting things off with Justin Fields of the New York Jets. Justin Fields has always been a great rushing quarterback, and now that he's starting to figure things out and throw the ball a little bit more and has a offense that I think fits his play style a little bit better, I can see a huge improvement with Justin Fields. He was the backup quarterback last year for the Steelers. Now that he's the starter on a team that tends to be more run-heavy but also has a great pass catcher in Garrett Wilson, I think Justin Fields can unlock his full potential this year and go from the 1,100 passing yards he had last year to a season where he can get 3,300 passing yards, 23 passing touchdowns, and 6 rushing touchdowns on 600 rushing yards. Justin Fields is going to be a great quarterback this year. Loves to dump the ball off to his running backs. And his running back this year is going to be Breece Hall to possibly get some extra passing touchdowns from him as well. So great offense. He's going to be able to rush the ball and do very well this year. Next quarterback is going to be Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes isn't usually seen as a great fantasy quarterback, but based on the numbers he's projected this year, that could change. Moving from 3,900 passing yards last year to the 4,200 he's projected this year. An increase in passing touchdowns from 26 to 31, and maybe an increase in rushing touchdowns from 2 to 3. Patrick Mahomes has always been able to succeed as a regular non-fantasy quarterback due to his extreme ability to pass the ball. And now that he has Travis Kelce still back, lots of tight end sets, which means a lot of completed passes. Whether you like the Chiefs or not, they tend to do very well in games, whether they score a lot or not. I do think they will score more this year, which would tend to mean Patrick Mahomes is going to get more fantasy points this year. Next quarterback on this list is going to be Kyler Murray at QB 8 for the year. Kyler Murray is also a very good quarterback from year to year. It tends to always be in the top 10. It's difficult for him to get in the top 5. But Kyler Murray should see an increase in passing touchdowns. He had 21 passing touchdowns last year. Hopefully he'll get 29 this year. If he gets some better connection with Marvin Harrison outside of just passing the ball to Trey McBride this year, then these numbers should be easily achievable. Projected to get the same passing yards as last year, same rushing touchdowns and rushing yards as last year as well. So if that connection with Marvin Harrison improves, we can see an improvement in Kyler Murray's fantasy production this year. Next on the list is going to be Brock Purdy. His projection is going to come as a surprise to some people. He's projected to get 4,800 passing yards with 32 passing touchdowns and 4 rushing touchdowns. These numbers might change as we approach the season, as there's some players holding out on his team and some players still experiencing some injuries. So these numbers might drop maybe by 100 passing yards at most, and maybe a touchdown or 2 here and there. But Brock Purdy has a lot of offensive weapons. If Christian McCaffrey plays the entire year, that's going to open things up for the offense. They did lose Deebo Samuel, but they have Ricky Pearsall, Juwan Jennings, Brandon Ayuk when he's back, and George Kittle at tight end. So he's got a lot of weapons, and so does our next quarterback, Baker Mayfield of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker played in all 17 games last year. Looks to post the same numbers as last year with 4,500 passing yards. 37 touchdowns is less than the 41 he had last year, but still 3 rushing touchdowns. So we know Baker likes to run. We know Baker likes to beat people up when he runs the ball, and he's a great passer. He has Emeka Egbuka added to the roster. He has Chris Godwin coming back from injury, and obviously Mike Evans. And then he also has the pass-catching upside of his running backs to support him as well. Moving on to the top 5. Top 5 quarterbacks this year are going to be Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, and Jayden Daniels. Starting things off with Jayden Daniels. He was a rookie last year. He's entering his sophomore season, coming off 17 games played last year in the regular season, getting 3,500 passing yards. Last year, 25 passing touchdowns and 6 rushing touchdowns. With the addition of Deebo Samuel, his passing yards can improve, as well as he's going into his second season and is more comfortable in the league. We can see 3,700 passing yards, 29 passing touchdowns, and 5 rushing touchdowns with 813 rushing yards. He had 900 last year. I expect Jayden Daniels to be a great quarterback and at least finish in the top 5. Moving on with another rushing quarterback, we have Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was without his most of his wide receiver core, including his tight end, most of last year. All of them experienced injuries of some sort. Dallas Goedert was out for a while, Brown was out for a while, and even Devontae Smith had a concussion for some part of last year. So seen an improvement from 2,900 passing yards to the 3,200 he's projected is not unreasonable. And that would also mean his passing touchdowns can improve. If he's dumping the ball off to Saquon or running the ball more, he's not going to be passing the ball as much, probably getting less passing touchdowns. That's going to change this year when everybody comes back healthy. Jalen Hurts did just win the Super Bowl. They didn't lose anybody very important in the offense this offseason, so expect them to be elite again, and Jalen Hurts should pass for 27 touchdowns and rush for another 12 touchdowns this year. So expect a lot of Jalen Hurts tush pushes this year and a lot of fantasy points as well. Joe Burrow is going to be the rare top 5 non-rushing quarterback. He can still post 3 rushing touchdowns this year. He had 2 last year, but most of his production comes from his ability to pass the ball to his elite wide receivers in T. Higgins and Ja'Marr Chase. He had 4,900 passing yards last year. I think he can improve that to 5,000 this year. T. Higgins missed some time last year, assuming he plays into every game this year. Improving on last year's numbers is not crazy at all. 42 passing touchdowns. He had 43 last year. And I see him to repeat what he did last year and finish as a top 3 quarterback. Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen have been swapping spots as they're projected almost the same fantasy points this year. Right now, Josh Allen is going to be ranked at 2, but they're honestly very interchangeable. And I put Lamar Jackson slightly above Josh Allen due to the fact that Josh Allen is projected 11 rushing touchdowns compared to the 12 he had last year, and 33 passing touchdowns to the 28 he had last year. He can see probably an increase in passing yards and production this year, as he is a phenomenal quarterback. But with Lamar at 1 being projected only 3 rushing touchdowns when he is a very high rushing quarterback, and a decrease of 4 passing touchdowns in same yardage, I think Lamar is able to get more than just his 3 projected rushing touchdowns and 37 passing touchdowns when he had 41 last year and 4 rushing. So if Lamar is able to beat any of those numbers, then that'll separate him more from the split he has right now with Josh Allen. And I think Lamar is going to finish as the number 1 quarterback this year. So that is my takes on the top 20 quarterbacks for the 2025 NFL season. If you want to know how I got to these numbers, I'll be posting a video soon about how I got to these calculations and how I kind of combined all the numbers and cross-reference them with previous seasons. But these are my rankings. I look forward to seeing you guys in the future videos.